Alright, so we're back in the city again. And while I did say we'll start taking more things for salvage, we're once again fighting against the Capellan Confederation. And if you guys saw the episode from last week, I sometimes do pro bono work against the Capellans. Now, this is not a case of that sort of generosity. It's more of a we don't need to field mech scavenge from the Capellans to float our own lance. So let's just take their money instead. So we're going to be moving up here, no eyes on the enemy yet, which is a refreshing change. Usually we see the Op 4 basically right away. And so this is very much not that case. We also do have a couple slight changes. So for one, our Axeman is back. Slapdash coming in, piloting her old Axeman, but with a couple shiny new differences, which I'll highlight here in a moment. Oh, that's blocked? Kidding me, that's blocked. Can we go through here? We can go through there. Good. Basically, the problem with that mech wasn't necessarily that it would never work. It was that we built it too slow, and with this sort of awkward long-range armament, but mid-range usual placement. And then, we didn't really have a good way to use an Ultra AC5 for mid-range where we're trying to close to get that axe online. There's no real reason to do it. So instead, what I've done is I've completely reworked it. I ripped out its engine, put in a larger engine. We put in a supercharger to get it to be able to move a bit quicker. Do I want to come up here? Yeah, we'll come up here. Okay, enemy contacts, good. Oh, where is it? Did I miss it again? Oh no, it should be here in just a second. Yes, so now it's carrying an Ultra AC20 and quad ER medium lasers. The ER mediums are for mid to long range, but they won't discourage us from actually closing the gap with the Axeman anymore. On a move we have 7, on a sprint we have 8. Should be anyway, it looks like it was not quite that effective there, but now we have sort of a more cohesive armament on this on the Axeman to actually incentivize us to close the gap, and then we can use the Ultra AC20, firing it twice, and then if we're in the middle of the enemy and our recoil on that thing is too bad to get us an effective shot, well, that's okay. We have an axe and we have a couple medium lasers to boot. So eyes on a 90 tonner and an 85 tonner for the Capellans. Nothing else showing at the moment, but the payout on this was something like 2 million. So I'd be surprised if we're only dealing with a single lance. Ooh, that's artillery. That looked like an Arrow 4 missile system. Didn't look like a Long Tom or anything like that. So we are going to have to be careful. We can kill this time 4 buildings before we'll pay a fee, which we did end up annoyingly paying last time. But because we're taking this for money, the bonus that we'll get for not destroying anything will be quite a bit better than what it was previously. So we really don't want to destroy any buildings here at all. We'll bring down sort of one lance, these 4 mechs over on this side, around to duel on the low ground. Or actually, the Marauder and the Atlas might stand up at the top and take some pot shots in from here, firing down the straight. I think that actually looks like a good idea. Just too far away from that 85 tonner to get the sensor lock, which is a bit unfortunate. Not like we have that much indirect fire anyway, but we could have gone in with the LRM-20s. Have we chosen to? I potentially could get vision here still. Some of these guys, like the Timberwolf, yeah, Timberwolf could get vision. Problem is, how can you get vision without sort of nearly suicidal charging? So I do want to wait, move that Timberwolf, if not last, then certainly close to it. The Axeman, okay, so he's blocking the way. Yeah, he's blocking the way. Okay, so he has to move. That's okay, we'll move down here. Lots of evasion. Okay, so we have an Emperor that we're dealing with. Emperor 7AIV carries an arrow, carries an LRM-20, double large, and a medium, proof that the Capellans even sometimes get things right. No bleed out, so the pilot can't bleed out. Interesting. Stalker mixed laser missile build with an arc launcher. Longbow. So this is a very long-range sort of lance. I'm not really liking going against that. But the Emperor there, other than having no clothes, does not have good evasion or damage mitigation. So we're going to Battle Lord, and we're going to pile everything into him in a relatively risk-free shot in terms of damage buildings. I want that Arrow 4 offline. We don't get it. We do destroy the right arm, not the torso, it looks like, just the arm. Yep, brings that large laser offline. Let's see if we can find... So the Arrow 4 is in the right torso, only has 9 more rounds. If we can fire in, if we can get some more damage into that torso, we'll be in a pretty good spot. Can I get a shot with any of these? Yes, I can. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pop the defensive formation with Slapdash. We're going to sprint up here. No joy yet with the Axeman, a bit too far away for him. You know, he'll prosper in those drops where we start right next to our opponents, which happens pretty often. And we'll be basically evaluating his performance compared to that Goliath, which is what originally replaced him, and then we've since replaced again. We don't want to take that shot, not this turn. The building behind will probably take down the building. Okay, so let's come up here, get even more of a height advantage for accuracy, if we can swing it. And let's sensor lock this Emperor to get rid of those last 2 evasion pips. He's moving on initiative 3, which gives us plenty of time. We can actually move up here. Decent shots on most of these things. Okay. So, our Marauder is notorious for missing when he shouldn't. But let's give this a try. We have 4 99.1% chances going in against the Stalker, which does have incredibly thick armor, and it is nice to take it down with heat damage. Unfortunately, not able to push him at all past the red lines. He hasn't shot quite yet, but if he does this turn, he'll push himself past it. At least that's the hope. And now we can move down here. Yeah, this is excellent. So, good. Move up to right there. And let's see what a precision strike can do on that Emperor. Push up to 6. We could try to core him right out, but well, it's not that much. Okay, so his engine's peeking into his torso, so he probably has an XL engine. Let's go for that right torso, try and kill him that way. And that mech's gone, which means that the Arrow 4 is offline. 3 salvageable parts from that. We could have, I mean, if we didn't have a complete and utter disdain for Capellan Max, of course, we could have potentially gone for that salvage. It's not the 4 pieces that we need, but yeah, it's a good bit along the way. So the Stalker's shooting into Timberwolf, landing more than I'd like. 2 lasers there. Yeah, Timberwolf it makes up for in agility what it lacks in armor, but that still does mean that it is lacking in armor. Let's see what they do with the Longbow and the Victor. I would like to bring a Victor online, but again, we didn't take this for salvage because you don't need dirty, rotten Capellan parts. Probably booby-trapped anyway. Would be something Capellans would do. It's actually, so it's interesting. In the lore, after the Exodus, post-Mars Civil War, Kerensky found that, Gauss Rifle going in and killing that building, Kerensky found that basically the society that he built was no different from the one that he had left, and people fell back basically into their old cultures, their old national allegiances and things like that, and very quickly he had a resurgent Capellan, just people being shitheads that he had to deal with. Took no time at all to spring up, so he was not thrilled. Uh, so basically, if you want to blame Nicholas Kerensky and his second exodus on something, blame the Capellans for not being able to move on from their backstabbing ways. So we do peel open the Stalker a little bit, which is kind of impressive. We landed the improved Heavy Gauss, which is nice. The Thanatos and the Ostrak moving a little bit slowly here for my liking around that side. I wanted to drive them right up the middle, but city terrain is less straightforward than you might think. So let's get the Butterbee up here. Precise strike in at the Stalker. He already does have an exposed right torso. My hope is we have enough SRMs that we can really at least peel that off. Which of course we are unable to do. That Butterbee is single-handedly underperforming my expectations, or at least my hopes, I should say, not expectations. Move the Timberwolf around, protect him from fire for the next turn, let him cool off some from that particularly hot shot on the previous turn. And we have great accuracy with this Axeman. So let's make use of it. Is there a need for precision strike here? I'd say no. I'd say we save that for when we have the recoil on this for the next turn. So let's just take that. 1, 2. Land both the AC-20 shells, right leg destroyed, right torso ripped completely off, and that Stalker is going down on its back. Good. Out injured. Mech is maybe mostly offline, might be an exaggeration, but certainly not having a good time. What do we do here? Okay. Let's take this shot. Going for the CT. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that mech's down. That's 2 of the primary enemy lands. I am expecting that we'll have to fight somebody else here, but they haven't shown up yet. Excuse me, which is a good sign. I've been talking for quite a while, and I guess your throat's surprisingly dry after a time. But let's see, C3 Master shooting into the longbow. Let's go for it. We do land it. So that longbow is now easier for us to hit, although it only had 1 evasion pip to begin with, which is not really a challenge in that regard. Okay, so the Victor has a Gauss. I don't really want to stand anything still. Let's move up here. Yeah, that looks good. We'll fire in from the side with everything from the Butterbee. Yeah, and that mech is just somehow singularly underwhelming compared with its similar Timberwolf cousin. Not cousin in terms of mech design or origin, sure, but intention, surely. Just not really doing it for us. Okay, let's move up. We can go here. Good. And we have 2 choices. We can shoot into the Victor, or we can shoot into the longbow. And I think we'll try to concentrate fire on the longbow. Here we will use that precise strike, and I want that torso gone. I want to take his firepower off. Of course, now we can jam it into his leg there. We do get the right torso as well. Injury resisted, and it looks like that longbow, probably a custom piece of art, can't actually model things falling off of it. So unfortunately, it does still look like it's whole. But if we check, it is in fact not. We've lost basically half of it. Well, it's lost half its armament, pretty much. Move the Thanatos around as well. If these guys survive to the next turn, then the Ostrak and Thanatos will be able to come online. Let's take the Jaeger mech, bring him down here, get him out of the way of that Victor, and we can go with all 6. Don't really see a purpose in that though. Let's just go for 3 so we avoid a second jam. I want to bring both guns online again. I was hoping we'd be able to hit the leg there. Only even 1 would have done it, but unfortunately no dice. We do, however, completely flank the Victor. That's what I was hoping for. I wasn't sure we could guarantee it, so I had careful positioning with the others. And we'll load everything right into the back of that Victor. That mech is gone. Good, good. See, that's the thing. Maybe that's the difference, right? Like, if we shot at things from the front with the Timberwolf, we might get a similar result as shooting them in the front with the Butterbee. The the thing is, the Timberwolf has the mobility to be able to really flank, and that's why the Butterbee originally had those jump jets, right? The ones that I pulled off. The problem is, without doing that, I wouldn't really have been able to up armor it, and without up armoring mech, it will die. Is the issue. So let's pop the Battlelord for the additional accuracy. I don't want to miss this improved heavy Gauss shot. Let's see if we can take out the longbow. No? Okay, so it's facing saved it, because it was, we fired in at the side. We fired in at the side that hadn't already been damaged, basically. Yeah, we're not taking our last shot with Bomb Squad, because we've been scarred by that too many times before. Let's see, the Timberwolf can get over there. Yeah, good. Sorry for close up through objects on the field. You know what? No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I think we're gonna hit the building. Instead, let's take the Jaeger mech. And yeah, that'll work fine. Just to make sure we really kill this guy, and because there's nothing else on the field yet. Oh, beautiful. Spacious skies, amber waves, grain, the whole deal. Alright, that's the entire mission. Big payday for not a lot of Op 4, but we'll take it. So thank you guys for sticking around, and we'll be back real soon.